This segment of Dirt Diggler's Shitty Sports Show was brought to you by ESPN. We picked your idols for you. Remember Tim Tebow? You do now.
Warning. Pregnant women, the elderly, and children under 16 should avoid prolonged exposure to Dirt Diggler. Dirt Diggler may suddenly accelerate to dangerous speeds. Dirt Diggler has high gluten content and is not kosher, halal, or vegan safe. Do not ingest Dirt Diggler, as Dirt Diggler is for external use only. Discontinue listening to Dirt Diggler if any of the following occurs: itching, vertigo, dizziness, discoloration of urine, tingling in extremities, loss of balance or coordination, slurred speech, temporary blindness, profuse sweating, heart palpitations, increased use of profanity. If listening to Dirt Diggler gives you an erection lasting longer than 4 hours, you're welcome. Listening to Dirt Diggler may lead to unplanned pregnancies. If Dirt Diggler begins to smoke, get away immediately. Seek shelter and cover head. Dirt Diggler may stick to certain types of skin. When not in use, Dirt Diggler should be returned to a special container and kept under refrigeration. The ingredients of Dirt Diggler include, but are not limited to, a glowing substance which fell to the earth, presumably from outer space, and bad memories. Do not taunt Dirt Diggler. Dirt Diggler does not come with a lifetime guarantee. Dirt Diggler. Enjoy the show.
Extra heat.
All right, what is going on? It is the Dirt Diggler, the dirtiest Diggler to ever Diggler for Dirt
That's right,
Diggler.
bitches.
And always, to my left, I have the illustrious
Kenny the Dork, unapologetically New England in another year.
Yeah, right. Yes. And so we don't have Gianni today. We don't have Brandon. He's got Brandon shit to do. But we are going to talk about last week's games a little bit. So just to let you know, preemptively, Brandon, I'm going to talk about your Bears.
Hey, Brandon.
But it's out of love.
Brandon, by the way, I'm just going to cut in here. He did the same thing to me after the Super Bowl, if you'll recall correctly.
I mean, this is what happens. We're going to talk about the games that happened. We just so happened that the Bears and Eagles did have a game that they engaged in Chicago that had an outcome that benefited only one member of the show.
The Eagles got quite the lucky bounce.
Or two. So as usual, we're going to go with the today's schedule is that we're going to do our normal hometown happenings. We're hearing some whispers and rumors that there's some test footage of Bill Belichick trying out for the booth. And we're going to work to see if we can find that for next week's show. But I would love to hear what Belichick sounds like in the booth.
Oh, my God.
It's got to be some riveting stuff there. I'm excited about it.
I mean, that's compelling television.
It really is.
There.
It really is. We're going to see if we can just get the audio, because we're a podcast. And so we have the coaching carousel. We're going to talk about the Black Monday and the hires that have happened since.
Eight coaches out and 6 are in.
Yep. We're going to talk about the wild card round of the playoffs, and then we're going to talk about our predictions for the divisional round. I'm not sure if we have a shitty beer this week, but we do have some shitty takes.
Oh, yeah.
So without further ado, let's kick this fucking pig. So, Philly, the Sixers are underachieving. Jimmy Butler's causing problems. Who'd have thunk it?
No.
The Flyers are East, which, judging by they watch a lot of hockey until playoffs come around, right? And I've been watching you see the score of the Flyers played the Lightning and fucking lost 3-4 or some shit. And that's more of a reoccurring theme. Flyers losing by 1 or 2.
Yeah.
So, not a good team. They didn't go into this as a rebuild year, but it's looking like that's probably they need to maybe offload some salary and really retool the team. It's not competitive right now, and they just need to acknowledge that and plan accordingly. Ron Hextall's out as GM. He's been out for a minute. They got a new guy in there, and it's really not working out well. So, such is life when it comes to hockey,
Yeah, I mean, ugh.
Yeah, and hot stove baseball, I don't really care. Until the Phils make a Manny Machado or Bryce Harper signing, I'm just kind of watching. Not a whole lot to talk about with that, So, not a lot of exciting stuff outside of the NFL right now. Not a lot of exciting stuff outside. There is some cool NFL stuff, though. There's a young lady, the woman official. Yeah. She's going to be the first woman official to officiate an NFL playoff game.
I know. And she's going to be in New England, suffering through the snow just like the players. It's gonna be fun.
I can't wait till we get to the point to where that's not a headline anymore.
Right.
Because there's really nothing saying she can't officiate, right? She just is.
It's just, wow, she's a woman.
Right, because it is a first, right? But let's, at some point there was the first black quarterback, and Up until the 90s and the 2000s, a black quarterback was a thing, and now it's just quarterback.
Yeah.
And it's good because
and up until Super Bowl 41, black head coach was a thing.
Black head coach. Honestly, that's still sort of a thing. That's a tough thing to break into because I want to say the coaching profession is a lot more nepotistic than the quarterbacking, right? Everybody wants to hire their son, and there's something to do with preconceptions that positions that are based in authority have to go to white dudes, and that's that's not okay. But that's getting worked on. So
yeah.
But we'll talk about the coaching changes later on. But I think it's good that I'd like to see us get to the point to where someone's demographic isn't a headline as far as them doing their job. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's going to go out there, she's going to officiate that game. Most of the time you see her, you don't, like, you says, oh, it's a lady official. And there's, like, nothing special about her, which is exactly what you want from an official.
Right.
The fact that we knew Ed Hockley is actually an indictment against Ed Hockley, because if you thought about it, he called some pretty fucked up games toward the end.
Yeah, he did.
Right? He called some fucked up games, right? But he's got a brother that's reffing now, and he's quiet, but we know his brother because he's Ed Hockley's brother.
Well, I mean, and we know Cleet Blakeman because
his name is fucking Cleet, but he's also called some fucked up games this year. A lot of fucked up games got called this year.
Yeah.
But such is life. To make the rule book thicker, it's not going to make the game better. It's a pretty shitty product as far as the reps are concerned. But, as far as Philly, not a whole lot going on outside of football. The legacy of Big Dick Nick, his contained Big Balls Doug, continues forward. So we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. But what's going on in the greater New England area?
Well, it's all, all in on the Pats. Everything we got, hashtag, going for the Blitz for 6.
Is that your thing for this year? Is that Edelman doing that, all we got?
Everything we got.
Everything we got.
Yeah, and it's the Blitz for 6.
Blitz for 6.
I still am partial to eat a bag of 6.
Eat a bag of 6.
Hey, thank you, Fitz. But anyway.
Oh, God.
So, I'm gonna go all in on the Pats here in a second here, but really quick, the Red Sox avoided arbitration with Mookie Betts the other day.
That's good.
$20 million for a 1-year deal.
That's not bad for baseball.
Oh no, I mean, he's also the reigning AL MVP, and he actually had a higher wins above replacement than Mike Trout last season. So
nice.
He's one of those rare 5-tool players, and a cornerstone of the franchise going forward. So I'm happy to see him get paid. I hope they get a long-term deal worked out sooner rather than later, and I hope they do it at a price that doesn't preclude them from retaining most of the championship core that they had this past year. There are rumors they are working on long-term deals for their killer bees. That's Bradley, Benintendi, Bogarts.
So lame.
I know, but it's 4 of them. So.
That's so lame, though.
Whatever,
It was lame when Pittsburgh did it. It's lame when New England does it. It's lame anyway. It's lame.
Hey, but the difference between the Killer Bees in Pittsburgh for the Steelers and the Killer Bees in Boston for the Red Sox is, wait for it, the ones in Boston won a championship.
You know what? I'll tell you, the only Killer Bees I recognize are the Wu-Tang Clan.
All right. That's
it.
That ain't nothing to fuck with.
They're not to fuck with. Hey, Wu-Tang Financial.
Yeah.
Diversify your fucking bonds, yo.
But, yeah, so the Red Sox, they're making moves. Nobody's made a big splash in free agency yet, quite in the way of the J.D. Martinez signing. Celtics are a maddening conundrum of frustration. There was a lot of expectation heaped upon this team going into the season.
Not
unlike your Sixers.
Yeah, the Sixers were looked at to be the up-and-coming team, but honestly, the only thing is right now is Embiid. If it's not Embiid, it really isn't. No one else is really stepping up, man.
I mean, you get Gordon Hayward and Kyrie Irving back from injury, you're expected to be an elite team, and they have not performed up to standards. So you're just sitting here like, any second, guys. This was supposed to be the month you piled up the wins.
Yeah, well,
this was supposed to be the easiest part of the schedule.
Sports are unpredictable, man.
Yeah, that's why they play the games.
That is why the games are played.
And the Bruins, they're mediocre. They're fourth, fifth team in the Eastern Conference. But one thing I noticed that they're doing, and I think it's awesome that they're doing it, is they're officially announcing a partnership with the Boston Pride of the National Women's Hockey League.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
That's pretty
you
cool,
know, like
man.
kind of picking up, helping prop up women's hockey.
Honestly, I think
which
that
is
should
actually
happen.
pretty big in New England.
No, look, I honestly think that the men's teams that have the established following and are making all the money should work towards propping up the women's sports because they have the exposure and people listen to them.
Yeah,
And honestly, I've watched women's hockey and that's some entertaining shit. And
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of women's sports and it's fucking entertaining as all hell. You know, it gets a bad rap for I don't know reasons, but
yeah,
you know, I think that we talked about this before.
yeah.
With the WNBA, I think the dude teams, the men's teams need to. It would be good if they helped out their sister teams a bit because each one of those
Yeah.
teams is a sister team to they're not in a city by themselves. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Except Seattle. Seattle is there
by themselves.
by themselves because the Sonics left.
Yeah. Well, and like the Connecticut Sun were originally a sister team of the Orlando Magic,
Yeah.
and then Orlando was just like,
So there's been some movement, but most of them are sister teams to existing NBA teams.
yeah. Well, to be fair, Connecticut women's basketball. Hello.
UConn.
Oh yeah, yeah. So it's New England doing great things. They're the fourth NHL team. The Bruins are to form a partnership with an NWHL franchise. And you like to see more teams do that going forward.
You would.
So it's pretty cool that they're doing that, and I hope that it's a prosperous, sponsorship or whatever you want to call it.
Relationship.
Yeah, going forward. And also, I wouldn't mind a Stanley Cup, guys. Come on, but they got to solve their goalie problems first.
The
Is
Caps,
that
the
Halak or
Caps
is
are
it
still a
Rask?
thing, and so are the Pingus.
And the Lightning,
Yeah,
they're kind of beastly.
They are a team.
Yeah, they are. They are a good team.
They are. So that's it with the hometown happenings.
Yeah, that's it for me.
Not a
today.
lot going on right now outside the NFL.
No, man, we're just focused all in on football.
Well, we are fortunate to be fans of teams that are still in the playoff race.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I had to suffer through watching teams getting eliminated from.
Well, I know Lady Dork is a diehard Ravens fan, and that was I had to be pretty heartbreaking to watch the
That
Chargers
was
beat them.
brutal. She's like, you're rooting for the Chargers because you don't want to play the Ravens. I was like, actually, no, I'd rather the Ravens come up to New England now after watching
The
this.
Wilkes are a good-looking team, but
They are.
Let's do the coaching carousel first, then we'll go into last week's games. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So Arizona, Steve Wilkes fired after one season.
Jesus.
Cliff Kingsbury is in now. From my understanding, Cliff Kingsbury had a fucking losing record at Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Right. So you're going to bring a college coach who Baker Mayfield initially played for and then transferred out from playing because he hated the coach. The coach wouldn't talk to him.
Yeah, but he also recruited Patrick Mahomes and coached him in college.
That's great. I'm thinking that Patrick Mahomes probably didn't need a lot of coaching.
Probably not.
Look at the product of Pat Mahomes as a rookie compared to now.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna say that as a pro, Andy Reid and his staff did a much better job getting him spun up than Cliff did.
It's so sad that he was such a hot commodity, though. Kingsbury.
Kingsbury was I think Kingsbury was a hot commodity because he was given the moniker of a quarterback whisperer.
Yeah,
because he had two players come play for him. But
He
Baker Mayfield shit on him. Former players have shit on this guy. Said he's an emotional fucking train wreck. That when he calls a play, it doesn't go well. He's hung up on that for like the next 5 plays. And he's gonna be coaching the Cardinals.
Yeah, and you know what? The worst thing I heard about regarding this is that he's going to trade Josh Rosen.
He's gonna trade Josh Rosen so he can draft the guy he coached.
Kyler Murray.
So that's gonna work out.
No, he said he would take number 1 overall last year. So he didn't coach him at Oklahoma.
Okay.
No, but
you know
Kyler
what?
Murray of Oklahoma, who's probably going to wind up playing baseball. He was drafted by the Oakland Athletics.
Nope. He eschewed the Athletics, and he's going to the NFL. And actually, one of the Athletics bloggers tweeted out that he wished he would get seriously injured as a result of eschewing the A's, which resulted in that blogger getting fucking fired.
Ooh.
That all happened over the last 2 days, man.
Well, I guess I needed to pay more attention, huh?
Well, I mean, that's
You know what really saddening about this whole hire?
you got a grown ass man.
Yeah.
Whose job is to track sports, who's so caught up in his own ass that he's going to wish serious injury on a young player coming out of college who excels in two sports,
Yeah.
and happen to choose the sport
That's fucked.
that this other guy didn't want him to choose. That's some. Come on, dude. You're supposed to be a fucking grown up. Please
Yeah,
be a grown up, man.
Yeah, you don't wish injury on them. It's ridiculous.
Like, I hope this young player who decided to play football instead of baseball fucking blows both his knees and dies. And it's like, why would you say that? That's pretty fucking stupid. But never mind. You got plenty of time to think about it because you have no job.
Boom. But you know what? You know another fun fact about Kingsbury that you probably didn't know.
They changed the K, the Cardinals C to a K in a tweet, which made the Cliff Kingsbury Cardinals as the KKK, which is probably not something they thought about, or this is Arizona, so maybe they did.
Oh,
Just gonna throw that out there.
I was just gonna throw out the fact that now we have a former receiver and a backup quarterback for Tom Brady now as coaches in the NFL.
Well, when you hang around for as long as Tom Brady has, these guys are bound to end up coaching somewhere. I mean,
he is farting cobwebs and pissing dust.
He's an old guy,
Yeah.
so he's an older guy.
He's like about a year older than us. So.
He's an older guy, the Tom Brady.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of out with the old,
Marvin Lewis finally got fucking fired, right? So we're like, what? Now,
I mean, this would have been not surprising last year.
no, that wouldn't be.
We thought he was going to get fired last year.
He should have gotten fired after Burfict ruined their playoff hopes by torpedoing Antonio Brown in the fucking face. But
Yeah, and getting goaded into a fist fight by Joey Porter.
you know what? That's a good heads up play by Porter. Either way, look,
Yeah.
because fuck both those teams, but super fuck the Bengals.
Yeah.
So, but Marvin Lewis has won exactly how many playoff games?
He's 0-7 as a playoff head coach.
You're fucking fired, dude.
Yeah.
You're fucking fired.
He had 15 years to win a playoff game.
So here's what's interesting though, right? So he brings on Hugh Jackson, right? And he gives Hugh Jackson his recommendation, right? And I'm so thinking, all right, the Bengals are going to hire Hugh Jackson to be their next head coach. This is going to be so much delightfully delicious misery in Cincinnati. But they just fired Hugh Jackson too.
He's not coming back, folks.
He's been fired from 2 different teams based out of Ohio within the past couple months. This is astounding.
Yeah. Apparently the Bengals want to wait for the Rams season to be over so they can hire offensive coordinator Zach Taylor.
I'm not sure that's a good move because the offense isn't Zach Taylor's. It's not.
Yeah.
It's the head coach's.
It's
McVay's.
McVay.
McVay's offense. So, I mean,
Okay,
you know what? To be fair, we didn't know where Frank Reich began and ended, and where Doug Peterson began and ended when it came to the offense of Philly last year.
Yeah.
We didn't know, right? So this could end up being a good hire. If you're looking at like what Frank Reich's done in Indy, which we'll talk about,
Yeah.
this could be this could work out well, but chances are it won't.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a lot. It reminds me a lot of 2009 when McDaniels got hired.
That was a bad coaching. That was a bad coach decision by.
Oh yeah, it was. But we
the
didn't know
Broncos.
where the success of the Patriots offense began with Josh McDaniels and ended with Tom Brady.
Well, obviously,
I mean,
it wasn't Josh McDaniels.
because of the fact that he managed to win 11 games with Matt Castle.
The problem with Josh McDaniels is that he didn't have an identity of his own that wasn't rooted in the Patriots.
Yeah.
He went to Denver and he tried to make it Patriots West. He literally had them get rid of AV equipment because it's not what they had in Foxborough. Who gives a fuck what kind of TV you have when
Right.
you're looking at film?
Oh, I know, and he's learned a lot since then. And I'm saying is that this could, wind up. It reminds me a lot of, a coach not being able to separate his identity from the coaching tree he came from.
And I think that's the problem with a lot of the coaches that come out of New England. Belichick casts a very large shadow, and he's probably an anomaly. So I don't have a lot of faith in his coaching tree
Yeah,
because it hasn't been successful.
Oh, we'll get back to that in a
It
second.
hasn't been successful. At best, they're good coordinators.
Yeah. Zach Taylor, though, going into the Bengals, I mean, it's exciting to think about the Rams offensive coordinator going in and taking over an offense with A.J. Green and Andy Dalton.
He doesn't evoke excitement.
Oh, no, Joe Mixon. Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Tyler
sure Joe
Boyd.
Mixon will be the one to punch it in at the one.
Yeah. Vulturing touchdown.
Punch it in. Get it? I said punch. 'Cause he punched the fuck out of a woman.
Well, domestic violence isn't funny.
No, it's really not. Actually, it wasn't domestic violence.
It was just...
No, actually, all right. So I guess he had got into it with the young lady, and she may or may not have spit in his face, and he fucking slugged her. And it's like, all right, dude, I get it. Like anybody else spits in your face, you fucking slug them. But you gotta just walk away from that shit.
You gotta be cognizant of the situation, bro.
I mean, getting your face spit in is supremely disrespectful, right?
Oh, I know, I've done it. And the fact that I didn't get clocked.
Wow, I'd have fucking tried to kill you.
Oh, I know.
but I can understand the young man's frustration is being spat on like that and being called a slur and losing his shit. It's just, you got to be better. Unfortunately, you are the guy under the microscope and you got to be better. So Mixon, he's got to wear this for his career.
Yeah.
So that's on him. But the thing is, he has a career. So
yeah.
Well, I guess he's fortunate.
Yeah, but he's gonna. Yeah. Anyway, so he's components like that in an offense for Zach Taylor.
We'll see. I don't see him as like having Todd Gurley things easy.
Yeah. But
unless you're.
I mean, I also think that Eric might be a pretty good fit here.
We're gonna see. Honestly, gonna have to. And if Zach Taylor is he can challenge a very weak Steelers team now for the AFC North crown. But if the Browns
coaching, speaking of smart choices,
if the Browns with their Freddie Kitchens promotion as head coach can put it all together, they could be the team to beat in the AFC North for some years.
I mean, look at what he did. Look at how much Baker Mayfield prospered when Freddie Kitchens took over the offense.
Well, I think the best thing though is they got rid of Greg. Right, Greg Williams, Mr. Bountygate himself. This guy said he had 11 teams that wanted to fucking sign him, and 4 of which he didn't even have to interview for. However, he remains unemployed. So I'm gonna challenge that statement and just say this is a crazy man who happens to coach football. But he was a sufficient defensive coordinator. He's just a psychopath.
Yeah.
Like, if you can separate the psychopath from the coach, which you can't, but if you could. He had some good concepts. He coached some good defenses. He's just a terrible, terrible human being. Mm-hmm. So I hope he has no success anywhere else because he's a shit human being, and that's more important to me.
I hope.
And I hope the Browns
in life happen to you and
only you. And I hope the Browns make a smart coaching decision when they pick up the next DC.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what kind of staff Kitchens puts together.
If there's not a guy in there named Sink, I'm going to see that as an opportunity lost.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, seriously, but I'm excited for the continued cultivation of the legend of Dick Shaker Baker.
Dick Shaker Baker.
We're making that a thing.
Yeah, Dick Shaker Baker.
Because, man, he's going around with like this swagger that he hasn't earned, and he's just shaking his dick.
Honestly,
all over the
I want to say that the guy knows he's legit, man. Like,
I know.
He's legit.
He is pretty good.
He's solid, man. He's a good young quarterback.
And they're retaining the offensive guru that helped him really bloom.
And I'm glad that they're doing that.
Yeah. It's like, wow, Cleveland doing smart things.
Haslam's still a piece of shit, though. So
yes, he is.
Never forget that.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
So, Denver, Vance Joseph out after 2 years.
Yeah, lost control of the team, lost the locker room.
Yeah.
He had to make a move at that point.
Which it's
an indictment more of Elway, I think.
Elway's a shitty president, GM.
I think the one thing he did was he got Peyton Manning, and then he put together a phenomenal defense.
Well, when you draft Von Miller, you have DeMarcus Ware coming from the Cowboys, who jettisoned him in all honesty.
And Aqib Talib came.
Aqib Talib, who was a fucking weirdo. But
yeah, when you poach players from rival teams,
that's what it is. So
and
you have Wade Phillips as your DC, right?
Yeah.
So Wade Phillips does a good job.
Yeah, and he got them to 2 Super Bowls, won one.
They got destroyed the first one, though.
Oh, yeah. God, I loved every second of that game.
Man, it started off with the opening snap. After that, it was all downhill.
Oh, yeah.
Somehow got worse.
Yeah.
Somehow got worse.
Yeah. So now, Kubiak retired. They hired Vance Joseph.
They tried to bring Kubiak as OC, but that's already going weirdly left.
Yeah. Oh, well, I remember, I think the only thing that I'm really going to remember Vance Joseph for was his first Monday night game.
Having the time of his life.
And that's because of Sergio Dip.
All his diversity and experience. Sergio Dip is a fucking
What do you got for it, Dippy?
Take it over, Dippy. Show me your feet. That's a Rex Ryan quote.
And Beth Mullins was over there just wondering when the flight to her next game was.
And the funny thing was, the guy they were showing wasn't even Vance Joseph. It was just a random black guy. That was the fucking best part. The best fucking part.
Oh my God!
Is this
But more sad music for our friend Brandon.
Yeah, Vic Fangio
Finally got a head coaching job.
but he had the #1 defense in the NFL this season here.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a loss for the Bears.
Yes.
To lose a coach like that, but he deserves it. He deserves a shot.
He has more than earned his shot at a head coaching job.
So, it happens. You got a good coordinator. They get a chance, man. So,
hey.
We lost Frank Reich. You lost Vic Fangio. It's what it is, man.
And he has been a good coordinator, not just in Chicago, San Francisco.
No, he's a good coordinator. He deserves a shot, man. He deserves a shot. I think he'll do good things. He seems to have a good temperament about him. So, we'll see. It's a loss for Chicago. We'll see if they can replicate their success defensively this upcoming year. They got the talent.
They do.
So let's see what they do, man. Let's see what they can do.
Yeah.
Next one out. So McCarthy got fucking straight fired.
Bye-bye, beef.
But they made a very uninspiring hire with Matt LaFleur, who was the Titans offensive coordinator.
Uh-huh.
Because they were an offensive juggernaut, right?
Oh.
No.
But he also worked with Sean McVay.
Oh, maybe it rubbed off on him, right? Maybe that's why they were scoring so many points in Tennessee. Oh, they weren't? Okay. Just checking. Aaron Rodgers they're going to waste that guy.
Oh, yeah, the whole thing.
The Monsters just throw him in the volcano now and save him the time.
Yeah.
Just saying. So, not happy with that hire.
And I'm not either. I thought, that the Pack I thought the Pack were going to hire McDaniels.
Honestly, that would probably have made more sense, but that's not the route they went. McCarthy's still unemployed, by the way. So.
Oh, yeah, he only wanted the Jets job.
He wanted the Jets job, which probably would have worked for him with Darnold.
Yeah.
But that's not the direction the Jets went. We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, so LaFleur, I don't see that going well for Green Bay at all, honestly.
Give it a couple of years. I'm sure it'll be a disaster.
No, it'll be a disaster immediately. This is...
I mean, they'll probably, with McCarthy's players, he'll win.
No.
And then when the roster turnover happens...
McCarthy's players could never stay healthy on either side of the ball, and their defense was suspect even when healthy.
So, 8-8 with McCarthy's players, he'll get the benefit of a doubt for a year or two. And then year 3, when when most of the roster is turned over and it's just him.
Yeah, so did Aaron Rodgers finish his career in Green Bay, or did he go somewhere else?
Oh, boy.
Because at some point he's going to get the moniker of a coach killer, even though they keep hiring shitty coaches.
Maybe.
Just throwing it out there. So, the next one up, Adam Gase is fired out of Miami, and they bring in Brian Flores.
They're rumored to be waiting for this Patriots season to be over to hire Brian
Well,
Flores.
I mean, it's either that or Terry Crews, which they're essentially the same person.
I
I don't see this working out well, all right? You have a
Belichick coaching tree.
You have a division rival poaching off the Belichick coaching tree. There's no way
How'd that work out for the Jets?
There's no way this goes left at all.
How did that work out for the Jets with Mangini?
Well, Mangini ended up snitching on him and alienated himself from any coaching job ever.
Well, he got a shot with the Browns after that.
That's where you go to die.
Yeah.
Like, at that point in time,
that's the hill you die on.
That's the coaching. Like, you end up in Cleveland, it's because that's it. There's nowhere else to go. But, all right, so the next firing, and this is why I absolutely fucking despise your division.
Yeah.
Todd Bowles gets fired from New York, right?
Yeah, we expected that.
Which we expected.
Three straight years of double-digit losses.
So you hire Adam Gase. You hire Miami's freshly fired coach who couldn't do shit, who ran an undisciplined team that was steeped in fuckwittery. That's who you bring into New York? Into that market?
I don't necessarily think that the lack of discipline was entirely Adam Gase's fault. Front office and ownership had a lot to do with it. There's toxic ownership in Miami.
Bro, look, Adam Gase is still getting hired on this fucking concept that he's some kind of quarterback whisperer. I don't believe he is.
Because he made Cutler look good one year.
Cutler was a talented dude. He just didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, Cutler's always been a talented quarterback. He simply never cared enough to really suffer, and he
was more interested in smoking Newports.
I mean, I see him more of a Marlboro guy, but maybe
we've had this argument.
Hey, listeners, what cigarettes does Jay Cutler smoke? Now, I'm actually going to say he's more of a Cools guy. I see him smoking Cools.
Yeah, maybe.
But he could be smoking Marlboro Reds.
He might be on the vape.
Well, no, vaping's way too way too new school, and there could be vaccines in there. Can't have that in the house. Could be vaccines in there.
Bruh.
But Adam Gase, that hire infuriates me, and every Jets fan I've spoken to is not even trying to talk themselves into liking
Oh,
this
I
fucking
know.
hire.
That's the worst part. It's like I can't even clown because
They're really pissed about this hire.
it's too easy.
So this is the kind of shit that the AFC East habitually does to itself year after year, right? So during the Brady-Belichick era, how many division titles have the Patriots won?
Let's see. This is year 18
You guys have
together with them as starters.
Yeah.
With Brady as a starter.
Yeah.
Well,
You guys have about
16 out of the
division-
18.
Yeah, that's it.
Miami won the Jet in 2008. The Jets won in 02.
When Brady was hurt, right?
Brady was hurt in 08.
Oh wait, okay. So
And they still almost won the division on tiebreakers in both seasons.
So when you have that kind of, it's the
Dominance.
Patriots are a good team, but to have no challengers during that time frame, because there was a time after the first Patriots Super Bowl, they were hurting.
Oh yeah, 02.
Yeah, they were hurting.
They went 9-7 the next year after that first Super Bowl.
So look, so AFC East sucks because they do shit like one team fires the coach, then the next team hires the same.
Yeah.
shit
Oh
coach.
yeah, because the Jets and Bills did that a couple of years ago.
Like, why do you keep doing this stupid shit? I don't know, but it bothers me that they continually do this in the AFC East.
I mean,
Seriously, fucking why though? Fucking why hire Adam Gase?
because Belichick wants a bye next year.
What fuck? You're supposed to be giving that dude the finger, man. Fuck. God, so frustrating. How dumb are these fucking teams? God, it's one thing to be mediocre forever like Marvin Lewis, but to straight be a dumpster fire year after year is...
Yeah.
God, you're gifting the Patriots 5 divisional wins every fucking year. 5 because, Miami and December you're going to lose that one. But
Shut up.
just, you might lose one in Buffalo too, maybe.
That's why the AFC Championship game is probably going to be played in Arrowhead.
We're doubtful. But and then you have Tampa Bay. Dirk Cutter got fired as he needed to be.
Yeah.
And they bring in Bruce Arians. Now
Interesting hire.
I hate Jameis Winston. The thing with Bruce Arians is the quarterback holds onto the ball forever because he runs a lot of deep routes. The interceptions that he's going to throw are going to be mind-blowing.
Yeah.
So this is going to fail because he has a shitty quarterback at quarterback. They're not going to keep Fitzmagic on, so because they're going to want to squash that controversy for the sake of Jameis. They're not going to make him compete for the starting job.
No.
Because Arians likes Winston. He likes Jameis Winston as quarterback. So what we're going to see, I just don't think Tampa...
There's something that Arians saw enough of in Winston to come on board here.
Come out of retirement.
Come
on
out
board.
of retirement from a cushy broadcasting game.
Yeah.
I mean, he made Arizona a winner, so I like the hire for Tampa.
He had Larry Fitzgerald in his prime and Carson Palmer, who was not a bad quarterback.
No, and they won a couple of playoff games with him.
They did.
And they were always perennially touted as a potential Super Bowl contender.
And then they weren't.
Yeah,
So, all right, let's talk about last week's games.
yeah.
Let's talk about last week's games. I know your team was off, so congratulations on being the number 2 seed in the AFC and having the bye week.
Yeah, Miami Miracle away from being a home field advantage. God damn it. It's like, and you know what's funny is that all 5 of the Patriots' losses this season were to non-playoff teams. So they all won their Super Bowls, and then they get to sit and watch the playoffs at home.
Nice. So the Eagles barely squeezed it in, right? The Eagles needed help in week 17. Needed to beat Washington in Washington, which became an Eagles home game, by the way. The Washington professional football persons were booed coming out of the tunnel at home. The Eagles were given a hero's welcome in Washington, which is an indictment to everything that team stands for.
Yeah.
Mostly Bruce Allen and Daniel Snyder, though. But they also needed the Bears to beat the Vikings. Now, we talked about this in the last show. If you don't want to play a divisional team a third time, especially in the playoffs, because that shit always burns you, right? So the Bears put the stomping on the Vikings. Kirk Cousins was exposed as a terrible quarterback that we all knew. Once again. Yep, once again. And so the Bears chose their opponent. If you beat the Vikings, you play the Eagles. If you lose to the Vikings, you play the Vikings again. Right? So they got to choose their opponent. They chose to play the Eagles So kudos to them. We appreciated that.
And then you turned around and repaid the favor.
Well, hold on. So that sets the stage, that's like the final thing that sets the stage for the NFC side. So let's get into the games now, right? You have the first game of the week was
Indy and Houston.
And I called an Indianapolis win because they looked fucking great. And don't let the score fool you. Indianapolis dominated that fucking game.
Oh, no. It was just plain ridiculous.
They dominated that game in all phases.
It should have been like 35-7.
It surely should have been. The Colts drafted some offensive linemen who honestly blocked the studs on the Texans defensive line straight to Hades, straight to hell.
Yeah.
I saw Jadeveon Clowney get stood up, backed up, and then fucking pancaked by a rookie.
Oh,
that is unheard of.
Quentin Nelson.
He's a
Lord.
fucking. They got one at tackle too, who handled J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt got no hits, but he did deflect a couple passes because he's got the long arms and shit.
Yeah.
He's good at deflect, but he couldn't get to the quarterback.
And T.Y. Hilton, he has made the NRG Stadium where the Texans play. He's made that his second home.
He's a partial owner. He's a partial owner.
Yeah, he walked in and in a clown mask
because they called him a clown. So he said, "Okay, I'll be a clown." And he came in as a clown. He did not have a big game. But Andrew Luck certainly did, and Marlon Mack had a huge game.
Oh my God, yes.
So they came in and did what they wanted in Houston, and they're a hot team. And honestly, nobody wants to play the Colts. Seriously, nobody wants to play the Colts.
And now the Colts are on the Kansas City.
They are, and they've done a great job. Frank Reich and his staff have done a great job turning that 1-5 team around.
Only the second team in NFL history to make the playoffs after starting 1-5.
And to be honest with you, having just made the playoffs would have been enough of a consolation for a lot of teams. But they feel they got it this year, and they are a fucking very skilled team on both sides of the ball, and their offensive line is dominating people. I don't see why this team couldn't make it another round or two. So we'll see. What's going on with that? So that was a good game. The next game was the Cow Turds and Seattle.
Yeah.
Seattle forgot that they had Russell Wilson as their quarterback because they ran the ball a lot. But they're a run-heavy team, but
they were trying to keep Zeke off the field. Maybe I don't know.
I mean, if you're punting, 3 and out because you can't get a first down because you're running, and then you end up in obvious passing downs, and save for a couple of extremely Russell Wilson plays. That you're going to get about 3 of those a game where he just kind of does some off-the-wall shit, throws the ball randomly, it ends up, it's a deep reception for one of his players, mostly Lockett, but Baldwin on occasions. You're going to have a tough time. So they made themselves one-dimensional. And as a result, the Cowboys were able to hold on in Dallas. So they disappointed me in that because I called a Seattle win, and I still believe that Seattle...
A lot of people thought Seattle would win.
Well, because Dallas chokes in the playoffs.
Yes.
But I just I think Pete Carroll, once again, got too cute for himself and did some dumb shit, but this time he did it for the whole game.
Yeah, it wasn't just, throwing on the 1-yard line.
This was you have an ineffective running game, you're behind, and you're still running the ball.
Yeah.
You need to trust Russell Wilson a little bit more. You got to stop running every first down.
Yeah, so now for the next 20 years, we have to hear... We them boys.
We got Dak. We got Zeke. We got Amari. We got Skip Bayless.
We got the AT&T Stadium.
We got Jerry Jones.
Screens.
So so that game.
They're going to the Super Bowl.
So then we go on to Sunday's games. The first game out of the box was
Ravens Chargers.
And
wow,
that was an ugly game.
Psychological nightmare for Lamar Jackson.
It really was. Now, do you know what?
Woefully, he was playing frantic and sped up.
Do you know what the Chargers did to cause that? They made a change that no one had really ever done before.
They played 3 safeties.
They played 3 safeties at linebacker.
But the Browns had done some of that the week before.
Some
of it, but not quite to the degree that the Chargers did.
They committed to that for like the entire game. They only ran their 2 or 3 linebacker packages rarely. Basically, what they were saying is this. We're going to challenge you to beat us with your legs. Because we know you can beat a linebacker to the edge, but you can't beat a safety. You can't beat a DB. And that's how they were able to contain. And what's odd is that they were good at containing the running backs as well. The Ravens had some big running backs, and they were still
plugging away for the weeks on end.
They really were, and they ran into a brick wall with that scheme. Now the defensive line for the Chargers came to play.
Yeah.
They came to play, but running.
Bosa and Ingram didn't mess around.
But really subbing out their beef in that front seven for speed.
That was ingenious.
I don't think it's going to work going forward, but when you have Lamar Jackson, who's not that great of a passer yet,
yeah, they basically said beat us with your arm.
Another thing is they didn't change their playbook at all from week to week.
No.
And I think that was more detrimental because Melvin Ingram, if defensive end sees where your tight end's at and knows exactly what the play is going to be, you are not.
Bye.
You're done. And that was the big part. They did a great job modifying the offense. And I got to give Harbaugh this, right? They did a great job modifying the offense to the strengths of what they had. But where they failed was the coordinator did not put enough variation into what he was doing within the concepts to keep teams guessing. So if you run the exact same plays out of the exact same formations week after week after week, you're going to run into a team like the Chargers who the players are going to diagnose what you do before the snap.
Oh, and that's why Marty Mornhinweg is currently looking for work and why the Ravens promoted Greg Roman to offensive coordinator this week.
Look, Marty Mornhinweg, I expect better from him.
I do too.
He's an Andy Reid product. I expect better from him. So,
Hey.
but plenty of time to think about it.
Yeah, and the Chargers are on to
Considered to be the best game of the week. Like, this was going to be the fucking game.
It was.
Of the
to the Billy.
Did anyone down? Let me fucking tell you what.
Hey, let Brandon down.
There's a litter of kittens in this house somewhere because I shat them watching this game. I was shitting kittens.
You shit me not.
I shit you, sir. I shit you. So you have the number one defense going up against the Magic of Big Dink Dick. You have Mitch kissing titties going against a resurgent Eagles secondary in a voracious front seven.
A defending champion that refuses to lose.
A defending champion who refuses to go away, playing outside in Soldier Field, which Eagles play outside. Futuristic toilet bowl. So what's going to happen, right? What I said was who keeps your quarterback the cleanest wins. Right?
Yeah.
They had one sack on Nick Foles.
And Khalil Mack had one hurry?
He had one hurry. He had 6 tackles, so he was great in the run game.
Yeah.
But he only had one quarterback hurry, no real hits, no sacks for Khalil Mack. They left him one-on-one with the tackles on the outside. Old-ass Jason Peters and Lane Johnson, who's...
I feel like we need a clip of Jason Kelsey saying, Jason Peters ain't got it no more.
Still, Lane Johnson can't stay off the juice. So Lane Johnson felt really slighted by his Pro Bowl snub. He also felt slighted that he wasn't voted as an All-Pro. Since that happened, he said, fuck it, and he just started mauling people, which is like, is that what it takes for you to maul? So what happens is this. They're in the same mode that they were last year, where they were literally underdogs at every playoff game, even though they were at home.
Yeah.
So they're back to that mindset.
But now they're on the road.
Well, they're on right, but they're still underdogs. So they've retaken up that underdog, us against the world mantle that helped them get past last year's number one defense in the Vikings. That helped them get past
Atlanta.
That helped them get past the Patriots.
Yeah.
That us versus them thing really empowered that team. They weren't the Death Star. They didn't have that for them yet. So for them to come into the season with a target on their back, right, and get their asses handed to them, a lot of injuries, a lot of bad things happen, right?
Yep.
And then they lose their start. The quarterback goes down again.
Welcome to the defending champion territory, buddy.
Right? Yeah. Well, I got it. So, but for them to be once again dismissed, that kind of strengthens them.
I mean, this team was pretty much left for
They
dead
were left for dead.
Week 14.
Look, the Bears letting them into the playoffs. Thank you, Bears, and your fan base.
This kind of reminds me of the 2011 Giants.
I guess would you have preferred to have lost to the Vikings at home or to lose to the Eagles at home? I honestly believe that despite the way this game went, because let me just explain for those who may have missed this game. This was a defensive slugfest.
Yeah.
This was a defensive slugfest. Foles threw 2 first-half picks. Trubisky was getting sacked. He was getting hit. He had some good pass. I mean, they almost picked off the ball like 3-4 times. The first pass from scrimmage was a pick. I want to say from Rasul Douglas or something to that effect.
Yep.
No. That was Washington. But they were giving Mitch a tough time, really tough time. With that secondary, that Band-Aid secondary, which is playing more like a group of starters now. The running games were both non-existent for both teams. Neither team could run the ball. So it came down to the quarterbacks, and I'm going to take Nick Foles, reigning Super Bowl MVP Nick Foles, over Mitch Trubisky every time. But it came down to the kicking game.
Yeah, and Cody Parkey had a pretty solid game.
He did. He put up 9 points to the rest of the offense, who only scored 6.
Yep.
The last kick was partially blocked, but it didn't look like it in real time.
It did not.
It sailed left, hit the left upright, and then fell down on the fucking crossbar, and then bounced out into the end zone.
And then social media lost its fucking mind.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, we all thought that it was just a bad kick, especially since he had dinged the freaking upright 4 times in that game in Detroit.
Yep.
And then dinged it again the week prior against the Vikings.
Uh-huh.
So, all right, the guy is. Those are indoor stadiums. The guy is hitting hitting the upright.
He
with
might
no
not
wind.
be a good kicker.
Might not be a good kicker, but to be real, he scored 9 points to your offensive 6. So you're going to be mad at somebody, be mad at your offense for not finishing drives,
Yeah.
right? Because if you ought to score one more touchdown, the game was yours. But that's not what happened, right? That's not what happened. So the Eagles come out of that game with a 1-point win, and the legend that is Nick Foles continues, and now we have a situation in Philly.
Hey, I want to just share a fun stat with you.
Go ahead, buddy.
In the last calendar year, from January 2018 to 2019,
Yeah.
the Eagles have more playoff wins
Yeah.
than the Cowboys do in the past 25.
Yep.
24,
They
excuse me.
also have more playoff wins than the Vikings in that time period, than the
The
Browns, than Washington, than the Texans, the Chargers.
I know, right? It's great, isn't it?
It's fucking wild, man. It's fucking wild. But yeah. So to those Bears fans out there, especially Brandon, I tip my hat. That was a hell of a game. That was the best game I've watched in the playoffs since. I mean, the Super Bowl was obviously like the best game ever because we won, but it really was a great game if you had a dog in the fight. This game was right behind that.
I mean, I could have done with a different outcome in the Super Bowl.
I mean, yes, but the game itself of that shootout was ridiculous, and to see the opposite happen in Chicago, where it's a defensive battle, was I was on the edge of my seat, literally like, what's going to happen?
I was too. I was compelled.
So, great game, Chicago. You guys are going to be dangerous for years to come. The loss of your DC is a big loss, but you guys have Khalil Mack.
They just hired Chuck Pagano to replace him.
Chuck Pagano?
He's a defensive coordinator.
He's an idiot, though.
He's a great defensive coordinator. He's a bad head coach.
Fair.
Yeah, because he was the Ravens' the defensive coordinator for years before he took the Indy job.
Okay, so I'm going to say, all right, then the Bears, you're in good hands with Pagano. You got a good head coach. You got a good head coach off that Andy Reid coaching tree, and you guys are going to be dominant in the NFC North for years to come.
Yeah.
Because I don't see Green Bay doing anything of note for the next several years.
Minnesota's living and dying on the hill of Kirk Cousins
and that
failures.
albatross of a contract.
They got 2 more years of it.
Honestly, I love the contract because it's the first one that's fully guaranteed, and I believe that needs to become more of a standard.
Yeah.
But the guy who got it is not a good quarterback. And the Lions are the Lions.
The Lions just,
Lions are terrible. So
that should we start the clock on Matt Patricia as a fired head coach?
We'll start that about
September?
a quarter into next season when he's fucking 1-3
or 0-4.
Yeah, or 0-4. So that was last week's game. So we were pretty good with our calls for that game.
Yeah,
for those games. So let's get into this week's divisional round. Playoff matchups, right? The first one out of the gate, Indianapolis at Kansas City.
It's kicking off in 2 hours.
Listen, I am saying Indy's going to take this one to the score of 35-21. I believe Indy can keep pace with the KC offense, but I don't think it matters because Indy's defense is good enough to cause them to kick the ball, and their running game is good enough to keep Mahomes off the field after the fact.
Oh, I mean, and not only that, but Sammy Watkins is hurt. I mean, Tyreek Hill's probably going to get doubled. And that means, as an offense, are you going to have to rely on Country Biscuit Kelvin Benjamin?
Has he played?
I mean, he's there.
I haven't seen him do anything, though.
Yeah, I know.
He's probably at the hometown buffet. If you guys want to swing by, pick up Calvin Benjamin. He's probably at the hometown buffet.
Yeah.
Probably in seafood section. Looks like he likes seafood.
Seafood. Eat it.
Yeah, definitely like seafood. So
we're making terrible things about this guy.
Fuck him.
Yeah, but no, and not only that, but lest we forget, the Chiefs have a 6-game home playoff losing streak. They haven't won a playoff game in 25 years. Yeah, since a guy named Montana was their quarterback.
To be fair, listen, if they were playing the Texans, I'd give this game to Kansas City.
Oh, yeah.
But they're playing the Colts, who are the hottest team in the playoffs right now. Period.
Yeah, well, I mean, but if the Texans had won last week, they'd be playing the Chargers, and I'd still be, yeah.
I give it to the Chargers.
Yeah.
So the Chiefs have a better chance of beating the Chargers because they're divisional opponents, playing them for a third time.
Yeah.
Than playing the Colts. The Colts have Andrew Luck, who's balling the fuck out. You got a running game that's balling the fuck out. You got a defense that's balling the fuck out. You got an offensive line that is mauling defenders.
And the best coverage option for T.Y. Hilton got traded to the Rams this offseason.
Just saying. So I can't say Kansas City's offense. Of course, Pat Mahomes is the man.
Oh, good Lord.
He deserves to be MVP of the league this year. He's done something that I've never seen. But that defense,
the no-look okey-doke passes.
The defense is too much of a liability, man. As a team,
and so
they're too incomplete.
The MVP curse continues.
It continues, man. So I think it continues. But so that's where I'm going with that. Well, how did you call this one?
I got Indy taking this one, 37-27.
So we're both picking Indy in this one. Indy's a strong team, and I know that it pains you to say that.
I know, because I've always thought of them as being soft as tissue paper and whiny.
But you can't be mad at Andrew Luck.
Nah. Can't be mad at Andrew Luck. Can't be mad at Frank Reich.
Can't be mad at those guys.
But, fuck that drunken owner. I need 31 points, guys.
Well, to be fair, it isn't like Kraft's never shown up in the locker room wasted or been in a booth wasted. I mean...
Or accepted the Lombardi trophy wasted.
To be fair, if I owned a team that won a Super Bowl... I would be fucking trash when you hand me the trophy. I'd be like, this fucking trophy.
This one is unequivocally the sweetest. I'm sorry, I've had one too many scotch, and so does Jonathan. Get another one for Papa.
Yeah, there we go. I'd be fucking shit-hammeredly. I'd be the drunkest billionaire in the fucking stadium, baby. I'd be without a doubt drunk as fuck. I was surprised Lori wasn't wasted when he went down there last year.
I know, right?
He kept himself like he was.
There's going to be a lot of billionaires wasted on Saturday in Los Angeles.
Oh boy! So Dallas playing the Rams in L.A. Which
are you rooting for the Giant Meteor?
I am rooting for Giant Meteor. Well, here's why. Right? I want to believe in the Rams. I don't know though because they don't really have a home field advantage.
No, we saw that last year.
Cowboys fans are everywhere. They're like fucking cockroaches or rats. They're fucking literally everywhere. If you see one, there's 100 more in the wall somewhere waiting to come out with a winning season.
Or a playoff victory.
Right? So they're going to have a 60-40 advantage in that stadium for the Cowboys. Like the Rams may have to go silent count at some point.
Yeah.
But the Rams do have a more potent offense than the Cowboys do. And I believe they have the speed to capitalize on the back end of the Cowboys. I believe their receiving core and the Todd Gurley matchup is a tough thing to do.
Yeah, I agree that the Gurley matchup's a really tough one.
The Cowboys defense though, and I say this as someone who hates the Cowboys with every thread of his being, that's a serious defense. I'm just not convinced their offense is enough to compensate for what they're getting ready to play. McVay's he's more innovative than anything they have on that Dallas sideline.
Although they really do miss Cooper Kupp.
He's a big player. He's a big time guy. He had a great relationship with Goff before he went down, and that's life though, man.
Yeah, but how you got this one, Dirt?
10-17 in favor of the Rams. I believe the Cowboys defense does slow the offense down, but I don't think that I don't believe the special teams for the Cowboys can win the field position battle, and I don't believe that the Cowboys offense can put up enough points in general. They've got Aaron Donald's a nightmare up front. Ndamukong Suh may or may not show up in this game.
See, the thing that worries me the most about a potential Rams victory, the referee assigned to this game,
Clete Blakeman.
No. I forgot his name. It was like Torver, I think.
He's the one who
he's called the second most roughing the passer penalties in the league this season.
Ugh.
So
this could be a sloppy game. Then.
This could be a sloppy game. I do still have the Rams winning it 30-21, but I would not be surprised if sloppy play and a Ndamukong Suh temper tantrum cost the Rams here.
It definitely could.
But then that would mean we'd have to deal with another Cowboys playoff victory.
I can't handle that. Cowboys in the NFC Championship. Now, what they're wanting is to host the Eagles and play the Eagles again. And Jerry World.
Oh, you don't want that.
And
Dallas, you don't want that.
And given how you beat the team later on in the season, I'm not sure you want to play the Eagles again.
No. And
not right now.
No. And not only that, but, what if the Eagles, I don't mean this. It's just purely from a conjecture standpoint. What if the Eagles don't win and you have to go back and play New Orleans?
Yeah, they don't
Who
want that.
wants you?
They don't want that.
They want you.
They
Dallas.
honestly don't want that. So moving on to San Diego, New England.
Because you never should have left, you dumb shits.
Well, they're doing pretty good in LA. To be fair, they're
for
good.
not selling out a soccer stadium with road fans.
No, but they actually had a home field advantage last game they played at home. Like, they literally had a home field advantage in StubHub Center the last game they played at home. It was ridiculous.
Shut up.
I kid you not. It was weird.
You get yourself right the fuck out of here.
No, I live here. My domicile.
You keep those khakis packed.
Should I unbag my khakis? I hate those commercials.
I know, they are annoying.
But so I have the Chargers 27 to the Pats 30. I'm going to give this to the Pats because they're in Foxborough, and they've had Phillip Rivers' number for his whole career.
0 for 7 against Tom Brady.
So now this isn't the normal Pats teams that we've seen, throughout the course of that career, where you have a Pats team that's a defensive juggernaut, then you have one that's an offensive juggernaut. This particular Pats team doesn't seem to be dominant in really any one thing like they have in the past. And the Chargers do seem to be a very well-balanced team. But nasty weather's coming in.
Yep.
And they're going to be playing in the Northeast. And I'm not sure that they will be able to do what they want to do in that weather. So I got to give it to the Pats.
I also am of that thought, especially after watching Melvin Gordon. He kind of looked like he tweaked his hammy a little bit.
He did. I was worried. I thought he hurt his knee really badly, but he looked okay.
Everybody's, doubling down. This is it for the Pats. They're done. But I don't know that I trust Marmalade and the Chargers to go in to Gillette Stadium and pull this off. The pass defense for the Patriots has really turned it up a notch, and in the last quarter of the season. You look at the level of competition they played, and maybe that's something to do with it. But at the same time, that's more of Brian Flores getting through. The man almost got the Arizona job last year, and he's going to get the Miami job after the season's over. He's really getting through to these guys. He's respected, and he commands a lot of attention. And he's figured out their defensive problems that were plaguing them from earlier in the season. They are playing much better on defense in the second half. And you've got to remember, yes, the Chargers are the best road team in the NFL this season, but the Patriots are the only team to not lose a game at home this year.
So it's really a toss-up.
And that's
why I give the weather. The weather could be the determining factor here. Brady's played in the cold a lot more than Rivers has.
Yeah, and aside from Melvin Gordon, I don't have faith in Austin Eckler and Justin Jackson to replicate the success of the running game for the Chargers. Whereas, you look at the Patriots on the flip side. You've got James White, you've got Sony Michel, who has looked gangbusters at times this season.
What it's going to come down to is those edge rushers for the Chargers.
Bosa and Ingram. If they can get home,
they can start beating them on Brady. It's going to look bad.
But Marcus Cannon's healthy, so I feel a lot better about that. I feel a lot better about our chances of containing Bosa and Ingram with Adrian Waddle watching from the sideline. I think they've really gelled on the offensive side of things. Gronkowski and Edelman have had a couple of weeks to heal up. I think both of them are showing the effects of age at this point.
Gronk needs to hang it up after this year.
I think he's got one more year.
I think he's reaching Antonio Gates territory here, where he's just out there.
He's a great blocking tight end. That's what everybody forgets.
But he's.
Yeah.
You can draft a blocking tight end and not pay him anywhere near what you're paying Gronk.
Yes, I understand.
So he does have
he has an incentive-laden contract, and he has incentive to want to come back. If so, we may see him back in 2019, but I doubt you see him past then.
So what's the score for this one?
I'm going to take the Patriots. No way, Kenny. You're going to take the Patriots?
No way.
Water's wet.
And the sky at times is blue.
27-21 over the Chargers. But by the same token, I'm going to say this right now, listeners. I would not be shocked to see Marmalade finally get that victory head-to-head over Tom Brady to add notch to his legacy. And you know what that would mean if both the Colts and Chargers won, right?
Oh, man.
All wild card AFC title game.
That's wild, man. I actually kind of want to see that.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
The 5 seed hosting the AFC title game.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It would be also the first time in 8 years the Patriots have not made the AFC title game. So
Yeah, it's good to have some variation in there.
yeah, I did it. I beg to differ, but that's because I'm benefiting from it.
I mean, obviously.
Yeah,
So with the last game on the docket, once again in prime time of prime times.
Well, the late game on Sunday.
Prime time of prime times. Philadelphia at New Orleans, right? The last time Philadelphia went into that stadium, they got
their teeth kicked in.
They got a mud hole stomped in their ass, and then they did close order drill until it was dry. Then they stomped a new mud hole somewhere else on the ass, and then did close order drill once again until it was dry. So
left, right.
they did. So the Eagles feel extraordinarily slighted. Not to mention that there's been a lot of chatter throughout the season from Saints players who feel like they would have beaten the Eagles in the playoffs last year. Because
they wanted to come to Philadelphia and beat y'all.
Well, yeah, but they got miracled.
Yeah,
they got miracled. Somebody hit the hit stick too soon.
Yeah, hey,
and so that's not what happened, right? But they felt a certain kind of way, like, man, we could have beat the Eagles. We could have been the team.
We feel cheated.
We feel cheated, right? So they felt cheated, and they let it be known when they absolutely eviscerated the Eagles, and Carson Wentz's literal worst game as a professional. It was a bad game for everyone involved, but it woke up the team, and honestly, so it's a good thing. So. But the Dome is a tough place to play in, especially in the playoffs. So the Superdome's and Drew Brees is no slouch, and the whole Peyton's no slouch, and that whole team is no slouch right now. So,
but they have been beaten there.
They've been beaten there, and they've lost games in the Superdome. Brees never lost a playoff game there. But I'm calling this is the first time it's going to happen. This Eagles team is not the same Eagles team that they fucking laid into. It really isn't. It's got a different quarterback. It's running a different offensive scheme. It's got a different secondary. It's got a healed up front seven. It's got a healed up receiving core. It's coming in a form at a good time, and I believe that deep down in their heart of hearts, a lot of those Saints players are very they already assume they've won. So I think while Breeze understands, I don't believe his skill position players do because they've never been here.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So they're gonna make believe that they've already won this game. They're gonna come in cocky when they shouldn't, and as a result, they're gonna get Nick Foles. So I'm calling it a very close one though. 28-27 in favor of the Eagles. This comes down to a final drive of some sort from either team with either a stop or a score. Could be a field goal. This is not going to be an easy game for either team, I don't believe. And it may very well come down to Sean Payton and Doug Peterson having to call the best games of their lives to offensively.
Chess match.
Yeah, because I think if you look at Sean Payton, he is a fantastic play caller. Yeah. But Doug Peterson is a fantastic play caller as well. So it's going to be which one of those chess masters can get the pieces and the matchups they want, because both teams have matchups to exploit. There's no one I can cover Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz.
No.
Right? At the same time, Alvin Kamara is going to give the Eagles fits because there's no linebacker that can really keep up with him.
Nope.
And Malcolm Jenkins will have a tough time because he's so fast. So there's, like I said, there's things.
Yeah, Michael Thomas,
he's going to require a double team.
Yeah.
So there's Alshon Jeffrey's a massive guy.
Yeah.
What do you do with him? So we're gonna see. I'm calling it 28-27 in favor of the Eagles. Dork, where you at on this one?
Well, I mean, the Birds are gonna perform better than they did the last visit they had into New Orleans.
Kind of hard not to.
I mean, Jesus Christ.
Kind of hard not to.
Well, I mean, and for most of the reasons that you stated. But one thing I am gonna cite is that the Saints had a bye and they needed it. They were hurt on the offensive line. Max Unger missed some time. Terron Armstead missed most of a month. And that's Drew Brees' blind side. And the drop-off in performance while he was out with injury was noticeable. Armstead is healthy. Unger is supposed to play in this game. I believe he is also fully healthy. So I think you're going to see a different Saints team than you did in the month of December. Prior to after the Eagles' ass kicking.
That was an ass kicking.
I mean, I hate to say it that way.
But no, they looked bad though after that game.
Oh,
the Saints did not look like an impressive team.
No, they didn't. I mean, even when they beat Carolina on Monday Night Football.
But
and on the
isn't that when they sat like a lot of people?
No.
No, yeah, they did.
That was week 15.
Was it week? Oh, okay, week 7. They played them again in week 17, right?
Yeah, they played Carolina in week 17 and lost, obviously, yes.
Yes.
No, but I mean, they were at Carolina. That game on Monday Night Football, they just...
Can we talk about Teddy Bridgewater? Because Teddy Bridgewater shouldn't even be walking.
No, he
But
should not.
But he played that game, and while he wasn't Drew Brees, of course, I think it's a good story because he's a good dude.
Yeah.
To see him out there, able to play football again at a professional level.
I'm happy for him.
Happy for the guy. So for all those Teddy Bridgewater fans out there, all three of you, week 17 was a small victory. Hopefully that season stops, tomorrow for y'all, but.
Oh, Teddy Bridgewater's going to get a chance to be a starter in the league.
I hope so. I hope somebody picks him up.
Yeah.
At the same time, I hope somebody. 99% of the league believes, or 90% of the league believes Kaepernick should have a job in the league.
Yeah.
So the players
I
are
agree.
the players are fucking so past this bullshit at this point.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. So those are our calls.
I haven't made mine.
Oh, you haven't?
You
Oh,
get-
sorry. What do you call this one, man?
I'm calling
sorry.
this one Saints 34, Eagles 27.
Close game either way.
Yeah, one possession game. I think they do show up. They play better. But I think the healing of the injuries on the offensive line is going to be the key to the Saints pulling this one out. Yeah, so now we're done with the calls, and we can look forward to playoff games, and then we'll see you for Championship Sunday.
All right. So what we don't have is a shitty beer of the week. And why don't we have a shitty beer of the week? Because Dirty didn't get fucking paid because Dirty works for the government. So for all y'all who voted for this bullshit, I'm just going to say fuck y'all because I'm over here
You owe us an apology.
eating shit sandwiches because y'all fucking did some dumb shit. But whatever. All right. So we're going to skip the shitty beer because we don't have one. But we do have a hot take. Shitty
Those
hot
are
take.
always free.
So if you look, you'll see the silhouette of a shitty take in the skyline.
Yeah, it's a little hard with these snow clouds rolling in.
Yeah, but we have to change the bulbs out in the take signal. But we'll get the
It's shitty.
it's shitty. It's a pretty shitty. It's a pretty shitty bulb, but I think we can get it. Either way,
Holy super shitty indefensible hot takes, Diggler! What are we gonna do now?
Johnny Dork to the take mobile. Okay, hold on. I guess I just gotta get this started. Hold on. It takes a minute. It's kind of old. All right.
Really?
All right. I think. All right. I think we're good. I think we're good to go. I think we're good to go. All right. This week's shitty hot takes. Bill Belichick teams up with Jason Witten in the booth after this season because I can't think of anything worse than hearing Jason Witten in the booth other than pairing him up with Bill Belichick and or Tony Romo, because could you imagine the bromance between those two in the booth, Tony Romo,
Wow.
Jason Witten, and then having Belichick kind of ride third wheel?
You guys are idiots. I mean, how did I get stuck with this?
I would honestly, I think that's so bad, it's good. That's so bad. Like that product would be so terrible. Like you should show it on like HBO because of all the swearing Belichick would do, and I think it'd be magical.
Look, I'm right here. This guy. Oh my God! Look at him! He's creeping up to the light. Shut the.
Remember the
fuck
time
up.
we did that, Tony? Oh,
Shut
no.
the fuck
God.
up.
But that's my shitty take. I think my shitty take is that Belichick hangs it up after the season.
Wow.
Him and Brady hang it up, and that Belichick ends up in the booth for CBS. And that's what happens. Dork, what is your take, sir?
Oh, it's another Patriot-related take in terms of retirement. So we were mentioning that Rob Gronkowski is a shell of himself,
He is.
and he's still a young man.
I mean, not
He's-
in football years.
Yeah, but I
in
mean,
real,
in life
in
years.
real people years, yeah.
And he's got cross-culture appeal.
He does.
So it is with that, and I mean, I am calling for him. He's going to be offered. Rob is going to be offered the part of a young John McClane in the upcoming Die Hard 6, Die Hardest,
Nice.
and he's going to retire. I mean, yeah, obviously, the retirement part of it is very feasible, but him as John McClane, I mean, come on.
Oh.
I mean, for one thing, he's a foot taller than Bruce Willis.
I think he should do a buddy cop movie with The Rock and Samuel Jackson. Like the other guys, the prequel of the other guys. I would fucking watch that shit to death.
I mean, there's also rumors he's going to go to WWE. For God's sake.
That shit's really physically taxing. I don't think he's gonna have the. I mean,
Yeah.
that shit's still rough.
But
so.
it's Rob Gronkowski. He'd only have to show up for like 20 dates a year, like Brock Lesnar.
I mean, still though, do you
Back
really,
out the Brinks truck.
I think I don't know, man. He's surgical scars, man.
Yeah,
He's-
yeah.
He's got. I think Hollywood's more of a thing for him.
I think it is too because yo soy fiesta.
Wasn't he in like a Tide ad or some shit? He was in a commercial.
Oh yeah,
recently.
yeah. And you have to wonder how many times behind the scenes they were like, dude, put it down, don't eat it, don't eat it.
But it looks tasty. Gronk hungry.
Tide Pods.
Tide Pods. So
I'm big and I'm awesome.
so yeah, that's the show for this week.
We got it.
We do. We got the show. It's all wrapped up.
Got him.
Got him. So hey, look. Good luck to all my other fellow federal employees who may or may not be getting a paycheck, man. Look, good luck making it through. Hopefully they open the government back up and we go back to living our fucking lives. 'Cause that'd be great. And, yeah, that'd be great. And for those other people who are affected by this because they're not getting their rent money or their, the other, like, you work at a daycare, right? And they can't afford to pay their fee because they're not getting paid.
Yeah.
That's shitty. So for all the people, other people who are affected by this, I hope it ends. So
I hope it ends too.
Hope it ends soon. We're already in new territory.
Fourth week.
New territory. Longest shutdown ever. So
It's ridiculous.
but in the meantime, there's sports. So
Sportsing.
there's sports ball to be played on the hard ice there, and
Yeah.
yep, with your cleats.
Hey, go Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Pats.
Go Pats. So either way, look, that's it for the show. It's real. It's fun.
It's real fun.
Dirt Diggler and
Lay dork.
out.
Out.